All right, good morning. It is June 18th, and how many of you on here today are waking up to your raspberry ketones and your rebooting? Give me a show of hands. All right, let's get after it. I woke up and I was hungry at 9 a.m. and I was like, dang it. But we're doing good here. I'm excited. It's a great day. One of the things that has really helped me would be in that reboot group. It was Mitch's training on mindset. I just have his words rolling in my head, picture waking up on Wednesday and the excitement and the feeling of conquering another reboot. I'm going on my 5th reboot. So I have to really anchor into a why am I doing it? It's because of community. It's because I want to be in it with the people doing it. And so today I want you to really focus on not only, I know you're doing the reboot, making sure you put your oxygen mask on, but touching each person doing that reboot with you, cultivating that relationship, checking in on them, letting them know you're there, making sure they're plugged in and connected to the Keto Reboot group. And if they haven't been accepted in yet, because maybe they requested late, there's in the Be Better Drink Ketone group under files, there's the entire optimization folder. So that's all anyone needs with your touch, encouragement, support, and love. So the other thing I wanted to touch base on real quick is it's Monday. It's goal setting day, right? And so today, I know part of our assignments, and I can put this out on the Pulse if I need to, is we had a little video on goal setting. And guys, it's huge. And it talked about how the most successful people write down their goals with a game plan behind the goal on how they're going to achieve that. I want you to ask yourself right now, if I asked you to show me your goals for this week, for this month, for before where you want to be in your business before Dallas, could you open it up? And yeah, this is just a leadership book, but visual. Could you open it up and could you show me the goals written with the bulleted action steps on how you're going to get there? We had a little meeting earlier. Some people are saying, I want 6, but they don't have any promoters yet. They don't have any volume coming from other places in their organization. Some people are, I want rank 5, but they aren't getting over 1,000 in new volume. If you can't bring in 1,000 in new volume, you're not meeting new people. If you're not meeting new people and you're not developing customers with stories, you're not flipping them into promoters. And so to put a goal down in writing is huge. But then to be able to break that goal down with action steps, what does it take to achieve this goal? Do you know the volume you need for each goal? And if you have 3 promoters, then how are you going to divide that between the 3 promoters and taproot the 2 promoters under them to give you that volume in that line? Does that make sense? We can't just say what we want. That's great to be able to declare what you want. But if you listen to that podcast today, you've got to write it down and then you've got to game map a plan to get there. And I fear a lot of people say, I want this, I want that. And they haven't taken the time to actually put in the action steps and understanding on a roadmap to get there. And so that's what we want this tribe to be. We want to be conquerors. We want to be people who can hear something and not just hear it, but conceptualize and put into action a plan. And so yesterday, Stephanie Robertson had sent me that video on goal setting, and I just want to be somebody who hears something and takes action on it immediately. Because if we've been listening even to the Brad Lee podcast, 90% of people will hear something, be like, that's great, and then forget it in 5 minutes and not move, not implement. So I wanted to practice the exercise of goal setting. So I went out to the track, and I remembered in middle school, I ran an 8-minute mile with 24 seconds. You see, that number's burned into my brain because I was very disappointed. I was a big basketball player. They called me fast. They called me quick. But if you put me on a mile run, I was slow. I was awkward. I ran down fast. It just wasn't my thing. And I remember being on the back end, very mediocre. And I remember telling my dad that time for the mile and seeing the disappointment on his face. And it cost me this award, not being able to crush that mile even harder. So that time was almost a traumatic little childhood experience and I've always remembered it. So I went out to the track yesterday and I told myself, I listened to a thing on goals and I'm like, okay, here's the goal, 7:30, 7 minutes and 30 seconds. It terrified me. That's 1 minute under what I was in middle school, and I'm 20 years older. Okay, come on. But here's what I said to myself. I've spent the last decade working on my hamstrings and my quads and my adductors and my glutes and my calves. I've worked the last 4 years harder on my mindset and mental belief in myself than I've ever done in my life. So I have new skills, new tools to go under a minute, even though it terrifies me to declare that. And I got on my phone and I set the mile to 7:30. And then that was the goal. And then I took a calculator and I broke down what each lap had to be for me to accomplish that mile run at 7:30. And I went, oh, shoot. Okay, well, here's the tools. And I had to speak that back into myself. So it took belief, it took a goal, it took breaking that goal down to segments in order to get there. And then I went on it and I hit that first lap and I was under the 180 where I had to be. I went on it. I was under it again. I was under it again. So my goal was 7 minutes and 30 seconds on a 1 mile run. And I finished it at 7 minutes and 11 seconds. And I was exhausted. And I'll tell you this, and it's recording. I don't care. I kind of wet my pants. Yeah, I said that. I did. I'm just telling you. I was coming around that back lap and I hurt. But I was thinking about everybody in this business who's struggling with their weight and they won't reboot. They won't set that goal. They won't put an action plan in place. I'm thinking about everybody saying that they want more money and they want financial freedom and they won't set that goal and they won't put that action plan in place. I'm thinking about all the little areas in my life that are causing me shame and feeling like a failure because I haven't written it down and I haven't put an action step behind it in order to change it. And it's just sitting there taking space up in my head. So yesterday was not about going to a track to run a 7 miles and 7 minute, 30 second, 11 second mile run. It wasn't about that. It was about a frustration of all these other areas in my life that I needed to take action on and not just think about what I need to do. And so it was a demonstration of you can do this. And it hurts so bad coming across that last mile. It hurts so bad coming across that last lap. And why would somebody just go out there and do that to themselves who isn't even running in a race? Because it was symbolism for some other areas in my life that I am ready to put some goals and action steps behind and crush. And I had to open up with this story today because Salena and what she's about to go into is the staple of your business. There has to be a tracker in place. You have a file. And without the follow-up, no one ever says yes to the first 1, 2, 3 times you ask. They don't. You have to follow up. And so she's going to take you through some attainable steps. But if your business goal here is I want a 5, I want a 6, I want to get my car paid for, I want to be a 7, I want to make $100,000 a month, and this is what I want to do with it, then you've got to master and be intentional about the goal. And I promise you, the follow-up, fortune is in the follow-up here. And so she's going to segment now into this. Salena, thank you. Your face looks awesome. I'm glad you put makeup on. Take it away and bring it home with your follow-up training.
All right, now that you just gave me chills already before I even got started here. Guys, as Abigail said, and that was a perfect segue into this. Like, if you're wanting to take this to that next level, and I hear people all the time, I just want to go, I just want to move further, I want to make more, I want to have a business, I want to grow. Like, if you want to do that, you have to master this skill. There is no way around it. And I have found myself at a place where I was not mastering my follow-up, guys. And your business will fall. Your business will get impacted in that. How many of you, I sat there this morning as we were chatting about, what do we need to share? What do we really need to talk about today? And I thought back to just the other day on my birthday, I got a phone call from the gentleman that sold me our family vehicle last summer, following up with me to say, happy birthday. How are you doing? How are you enjoying your vehicle? Do you know how good that made me feel? Can any of you right now, I want you to go to a spot where somebody followed back up with you and you felt that connection. You're like, that person really cares about me, right? We have something more than just a car. We have something more than anybody else has ever followed up with you about. We have something that truly can give longevity to somebody's life. We have something truly that can just change and shift from a financial standpoint, from a mood standpoint. Guys, people see me and they're like, you're this happy, smiley, energetic person. I wasn't 2.5 years ago, but it was Abigail's persistent follow-up that put me to where I am today, that I can now follow up. I had the blessing every single day to follow up with other people to bring this back into their life. So if you can master this skill of follow-up, you can master the skill of changing lives and rippling out further than you ever imagined. That podcast today talked about digestible blocks. You have to set up and be diligent about digestible blocks in your organization for follow-up. No excuses. I know we go out there, we set out messages, we ask the question, we use the play that works, we use the ad tag message, but you have to follow up. You can't put somebody in that group and sit back and think, oh, they're just going to come back to me. No, they're waiting for you. When they talk about you need 7 to 8 to 10 to 12 exposures sometimes for people, here's the thing. If you don't master the follow-up, somebody else will swoop in with either another product, something that's not even anything near it, and they're going to take hold of what you started and you didn't finish. Okay? So I want to read some statistics to you guys. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. 48%. Are you one of the 48%? Ask yourself that right now. Like I was asking myself as I'm reading this. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 2% is it, guys. Only 2%. All right? So right here, this depicts to us right now how important that follow-up is. All right? We know we don't want only 2% of the individuals that we're reaching out to. How many people do you reach out to each and every single day? Think about that. And if you're only converting 2% on a first reach out and you're never following the follow-up, what's your business look like? What's your business going to look like? I want to see each and every single one of you absolutely crushing this 2.5 and 3 years from now. So we're going to master this. We're going to dive into this. So who do you follow up with? When do you follow up? How do you follow up? And why do you follow up? If we don't understand the why, we don't understand any of it, right? So who do we follow up? Every single person that you have this conversation with. I cannot stress enough. I sat at ball games yesterday. 2 more moms that are like, what is this that you do? They seen my hat. They seen me drinking this stuff. They're like, what is this you do? You want to know what my first step always is? Get them on Facebook. Master of follow-up, guys. They get to see you. They get to interact. That's part of your follow-up live right there each and every single day as they are plugged in. But you have to make that reach out to them also, all right? So master the follow-up game of having contact information, whether that's the phone number and then you segue into Facebook or starting straight out of the gate on Facebook, all right? So these potential customers, all right? So there's potential customers, there's potential promoters that you're seeking, all right? Both of them, you're still going to follow up the exact same way. The ultimate experience, the ultimate process is we have to get them addicted to what we have. We have to let them fall in love with what we have. We have to get them to where they fall in love with our community, guys. Each and every single one of us that are pouring into these groups, we're creating that sense of community. People don't just join, don't just join a product. They are joining a community. So if you set the pace of you're checking in to see how they're doing, you're following up to see, hey, did you like that video? Hey, where are you at in your 10-day? Hey, what are you expecting? Hey, you've completed your first month. Like, what was your before? What was your after pictures? Like, when you sincerely reach out and you care and you show them that you care, whether that's a text message, whether that's a Facebook Messenger, whether that is a phone call, I pick up. I'll say, hey, listen, I've got 5 minutes. I just wanted to chat with you. It's really, really powerful, and I think it's super, super underutilized in here for your follow-ups, whether that's a conversion from somebody that you ad tagged message, somebody that is a customer that you are trying to convert over to a promoter, or a promoter that you're trying to convert over to actually just crushing their business, is the Facebook video phone call. How many of you feel so much more energetic being able to see me talking to you today versus just sitting there listening to a phone, right? Or a text message? There is no personal in either one of those. I see some thumbs up going on. So pick up and say, hey, listen, I just had 5 minutes. I wanted to see, how's your 10-day going? Hey, did you enjoy that video? If they're crickets, just push the button and go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just call their booties. All right, just call them. But set that expectation. Don't get in the trap hole that you're going to end up being on the phone for 30 minutes or an hour. Trust me, I have to zip my lips. I have to put a timer on myself. I say, listen, I just had 5 minutes. I wanted to connect with you. That follow-up right there will be golden in your business. So you're going to make sure that you're always following up. This isn't just the pre, all right? But every single person you're having an interaction with, if you're not following up with them, they're never going to convert. Your customers that you bring in, it will strictly stay transactional. If you don't master following up, staying connected, making sure that they're consistent, making sure that they're drinking, making sure that they even looked at the information that you've tagged them in, all right? But coming from a state of the heart where you truly are caring, you want them to let them know, I just want you to have the absolutely best experience possible. Let them know your intention. If it feels like you're selling them, take a step back. Your follow-up is not in the right intention of them having a better experience, of them getting that value from you, all right? So make a check. I have to do that too. So when are we following up? Your 10 days, all right? I'm gonna start with that. Your 10 days, you should be in contact with them before they get their product. You're setting that expectation of them, hey, listen, text me as soon as this arrives. When they text you, pick up that phone, do a 5-minute. Hey, listen, I just want to make sure tomorrow morning, I know you'll watch that video, but tomorrow morning, you're going to drink 4 to 8 ounces of water. You're going to drink that full packet of your Max. And then I want you to check in with me a couple hours into your day. Hang up the phone. It doesn't need to get any further than that. All right. Just share your excitement. All right. In your follow-ups. Make sure that each day you're following up with them. All right. Don't just say, hey, here's your stuff. Drink it. All right, now you're ready to order, right? How many of you have ever went somewhere and somebody treated you like that? It's not going to go well. Not going to go well at all. So make sure that you are following up with them each and every single day of their experience. Make sure that you already set that expectation that, hey, day 4, 5, 6, we're ordering. This isn't the done deal. Like, we're ordering. We're figuring out what flavor that is. We want you to really experience what ketones are all about. And then after they order, all right? And you guys, we have these amazing trackers. How many of you are actually using these? I want to see raise of hands. How many of you are actually using the trackers? I'm not seeing very many hands. Today, print these suckers out. If you don't have a printer at your house, go to a library, get resourceful, all right? This business is all about being able to overcome obstacles, all right? And adapting. Go to the library if you need it. If you need to borrow your mom's printer, go borrow your mom's printer. Go borrow your friend's printer if you don't have ink in your printer. All right. They're like $20 to buy a printer at Walmart, and you even get the ink cartridge. Okay. It doesn't matter how cheap or how expensive it is. But if you are not utilizing this tool, you're missing out, because this right here, you get to track. Hey, yeah, you added them to the campfire video. You added them, you ATM'd them. You track where you sent it to them. Hey, what better? You have an address that you can follow up on their birthday, right? You can send them a card. But you also track your touch base when it arrived. You're tracking your 2 to 3 days. You're tracking what benefits that they've received, and then you're tracking their order. Everything is literally laid out right here for you. This is your follow-up for your conversions, from your ad tag message to your 10 days. So make sure you're utilizing that. Your customers. We just got off of this call. It is so vital and important that you're following up with your customer and you're identifying, yeah, they may be looking for that 100,000 pound fat loss story, but you're identifying the energy, you're identifying the mood, you're identifying the better sleep, whatever those other benefits are. Don't focus on the fat loss, guys. I'm going to stress that to you, unless they're automatically going, I already lost 10 pounds. All right, we're going to run with that. Okay. But otherwise, find the small things. Find the small thing that they had enough energy to play with their kids at the end of the day after they got off of work, that they were still smiling when they woke up the next morning, that they actually slept, that they dreamed, whatever that was. And helping to encourage them to make a post, okay? We want to continue with this. We want them to have support, not just from us, but from other people. So that follow-up to identify, help them to identify what they are not seeing, okay? So your customers, it isn't just in the first month. It's not just 2 months. I have customers 2.5 years ago that ordered from me. I still follow up and see how they're doing. They're not going to keep ordering if they never hear from you, if they're not connected in the resources, if they're not connected in with you. They joined you, they ordered from you for a reason, guys. So make sure that your customers, that you are following up with them. Okay, whether you use a streak board, whether you put them on your calendar. I think your calendar itself is one of the most underutilized. If you're going out like a month, 2 months, 3 months, maybe Abigail will make another tracker for this too, but drop their name out. Hey, I need to follow up with them on this date. If they tell you, hey, listen, I can order, but I can't order for a month, drop it into your calendar, all right? Write their name down. Otherwise, you're going to forget, and do it right then and there. Keep a little notes thing in your phone, but that follow-up is vital. They told you when they were going to be ready. So you honor that, and you make sure that you hop on and follow up with them before somebody else follows up with them that's going to come up with this thing that's going to change their lives. And you know, wholeheartedly, it's not going to change their life. So follow up with them. They gave you the permission. If they tell you no, I don't know, ask them when, put them on your calendar. You're going to follow up with them. All right. Your promoters. And I'm going to be honest, guys, sometimes they go into the witness protection, they joined, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Still follow up with them. Love them where they are. Never take it personally, okay? Know that they are there. Like they want to be a part of this community. They just got cold feet, all right? So you loving them where they are, making sure that you're following up with them, you know, each week, just seeing where they are. Say, hey, listen, how can I help serve you? Find out where that gap is. Find out where that fear is with them, and helping to walk through. If you never follow up, you never know, they're going to fall off. And this could have been something that truly could have rewrote their entire life for them. All right. You don't know. Most people that are broke they don't tell you that they're broke, right? How many people go around saying, man, I wasn't able to pay all my bills last month? Anybody have anybody that does that? I don't have very many people that do that. You have that ability to be able to help them. So follow up. And sometimes it's literally that fear that they couldn't pay their bills last month, and now they just joined something that they're in fear that they're not going to be able to make that return. So it is our due diligence to make sure that we're following up with them and connecting them and figuring out what it is that they need, okay? People will tell you, typically, if you just ask and zip your mouth, they will tell you in about the first 5 minutes what they need, okay? And if you're struggling with that, connect with your coach. Connect with your mentor. Your mentor will be able to help you sift through that. So that follow-up is vital, okay? Now, this does not only count for people that you've shared this conversation with. I'm going to talk about taprooting. Taprooting has been a vital part of my business. And I know sometimes we get very scared to think about taprooting and talking to people that, join someone else in this and that. You know what? We are all part of one organization. This is one organization. Those people that are 12, 13 down below me, they are still part of my business, guys. They still need help. They still need us to help make sure they're connected, to make sure they have the resources, all right? I feel guilty when somebody doesn't have those resources. So that follow-up there, we talk about like the 50-50-50. That taprooting is vital, even for customers, even just to make sure that they are added and tagged into our Be Better group. Maybe the person's, 4, 5, 6 up below or up above them aren't plugged in. So we need to make sure that we're following up with the customers. We're making sure that we're printing out. How many of you went through and printed out your rebooters in your entire organization and made sure that there was somebody? So like, I'm seeing Joanna here. So I checked in with Joanna. I said, hey, Joanna, did you check in with the rebooters underneath so-and-so? She says, yes. That's all I needed to do. I knew she already did that. Because how many rebooters how many of you, if you had never done a reboot, didn't have any information, didn't read the box, because not everybody reads the box that says, hey, join this community. How many of you would have been like, I am peeing out of places I shouldn't be peeing out of. I feel like crap. I'm going to quit and I'm never going to do this again. And then like you would have just ran off, right? So no, we don't want those people to have those experiences. So take ownership of that. All you're doing is checking in to make sure that they're connected and that they have the resources that they need. Okay. So own taprooting, own following up in your organization. Okay. You're going to need group volume later. All right. And those individuals are your group volume. Okay. We were chatting earlier, 1 out of every 10 customers should be converting over to a promoter. All right. I remember when I first started, Abigail said, hey, listen, for every 20 promoters that you bring in, one of those is going to run. One of those is really going to run. So how many of you have more than 10 customers? Raise the hands here. Okay. I'm seeing some hands. How many of you out of that conversion have one promoter for every 10 customers that you have? I'm not seeing as many. All right. So we need to do better about that. We need to make sure that we're connecting them in the resources in the groups that we have. So following up, like, hey, listen, I don't know if I shared with you. Don't be weird. And if you're maybe you haven't talked to somebody for a while and your follow-up, just say, hey, listen, I really failed in my follow-up when I first got started. Be honest with people. People are going to meet you with where you are if you are honest with them. So own that follow-up and say, hey, listen, we have some new programs. We have some new groups here. I want to make sure that you guys are connected and that you have the resources, that you know that there is an opportunity here with this follow-up. All right. So best ways to follow up. How do you follow up? Textedly, guys. How many of you are rocking that out? Super simple, super easy, right? So me at softball games yesterday, I was able to textedly out. I also use S'more that I can create on my phone. So S'more is something we could do another training on. It's literally just a little pretty little kind of like an email that you can send out that says, hey, listen, Lime time's out. Or you can send a recipe to people. It takes like 5 minutes to set this thing up. The phone, again, don't bypass that. Don't bypass your Facebook phone call where you can actually physically see people and talk with them. Text messages, all right? Even just to say, hey, how's it going? How are you doing? What have you noticed today? Make sure that you are reaching out. Write down. So how are you tracking these? Again, use your calendar, use your sheets, all right? I have a whole book that I write down, even people that I am just like, even the people that I'm just adding, like people that I'm like, ooh, I want these as promoters. And we stalk people. We watch, we look at their presence. We look at their energy. So these are my stalkers. Once they accept, see these blue lines? I know that they have accepted my Facebook request. They're following me on Instagram. I follow up with these individuals. All right. So then once I get them ad tagged, they go to my ad tag sheet. So you have to have this written down. You have to have this trackable for you. If you're the computer nerdy person, stick it in streaks. I don't have time to sit there and carry a dang computer around. I can carry my little folders around and I can write down stuff. I can sit at ball games. I can sit in the car. Wherever I'm at, I can have my little folder, track it. All right. But that follow-up is what's truly going to convert. So why do we want to do that? Again, go back to when was the time that you bought something that was very important to you? Maybe it wasn't important to you. Maybe it was a phone case, whatever. And that person reached out to you. They followed up with you. We want to give that back to each person that trusted us enough to look at it. Each person that trusted us enough to say, hey, listen, I want to try this for 5 or 10 days. And maybe it wasn't that time at that time and they didn't go ahead and convert. Here's the thing, respect them with where they are. Never get an attitude with people. You don't know what's going on. And if you're never following up, you're never going to find out. All right. Anybody that was a customer, make sure that you're following up with them, that they're staying on track. People fall off all the time. Life happens. So be there for them. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's something super simple you can do. Printing out your lists. I have my list of my customers that order each month. So I can make sure that I'm following up, that they're loving their cream, that they're loving the new flavor that they got, that they're loving their free box that they got with their Smart Shift, right? Maybe they didn't even realize. Maybe they thought that the company just messed up and sent them some extra product. So it gives you another reason to really just pump how amazing Prove It is and what, they can receive from us, what we have to give. The other part of that why is we don't want to be transactional, guys. We don't want to be talking heads. We really want to create going from a transaction. All right. We want to take that transaction to residual. Your follow-up creates your residual. If you don't have people reordering, if you don't have smart ships going, if you don't have customers trying new products, your follow-up game is off and you're not going to have residual. Residual is a huge portion of your business. And that residual, and once you get this consistency, is ultimately going to create your legacy. How many of you would love to be able to leave your kids a legacy that they're not going to be left with debt? How many of you have seen granddads, you've seen your parents literally broke and leaving behind debt for other people? I don't want to recreate that. I don't want to continue that. I want a legacy for my kids, for my husband, that I know they don't ever have to worry about anything if I were absent, right? How many other people do you know that are seeking that same thing in life? How many other people do you know that when they retire, they're not going to be able to go out there and enjoy things, or, they're not able to go watch their kids do stuff? Like, that is what this follow-up is all about. It's taking ownership and letting people see. I know that we have such a sticky stigma about community marketing, but the more confident you get in this, the more confident that you're going to get by following up with your customers and hearing their amazing stories. That lights me up each and every single day. That puts that fire back below me of why I need to get out there and share and why I need to follow up, because there's somebody else that that has had an amazing experience, or somebody else that needs to have an amazing experience. And the more that you follow up, the more that's going to create this momentum in your business. You have to have promoters. So learning to be diligent in following up with those customers having the amazing experience, because I guarantee you, they've got 10 people at work, they've got 10 people at church, 10 people at their group that they're at that are saying, what is this that you're drinking? And you haven't set just a simple base to where they're comfortable to share. They're comfortable then to just follow up exactly like you did, because you just kept it real. So knowing that connection, that follow-up is ultimately what's going to lead to your business expanding, that momentum in your business. So today, I want you to set, what is your follow-up goal? What are those digestible blocks that each week, no matter what, and I know this is part of our DMO, but do we really own it? I want you to own it extra hard this week. Our rebooters, we have a whole outline this week. You're going to master this with your rebooters this week. So we set the expectation. We had them set their measurements. We had them set what they were looking for in this reboot. All right. Wednesday, we're going to be asking you, who is this you want on your team? It's okay to be looking for promoters. If you want this as a business, you have to have promoters, guys. So Wednesday, you're going to have 2 of those people that you're like, I know they need a wealth home run in their life, whether that's $200, $1,000, whatever that is for them. 2 people that you know that this reboot and locking arms with them, following up with them, helping them share their story can literally transform and change their life. How much does that fill your love tank to think that you could help somebody else be able to pay their bills, all right? To be able to go get a car because they don't even have a car right now. Like, what is that? Maybe they've got doctor bills for their kids. Maybe they've got doctor bills of their own that they need to pay. Who are those 2 people that you're going to lock arms with on Wednesday? And stay plugged in, guys, because there's going to be more details on that. The push groups are going to be vital. Those 2 people are the 2 people that your push group's going to help to push this information out. All right. So don't get all gung ho, but I want you to sit there today with your sights on. What's your follow-up time that you're doing each and every week with your potentials, with those customers that have already locked arms, with your 10 days, and with your promoters, and then your reboots? Who are those 2? Who are the lucky 2 that you're going to transform and change their lives? All right, guys. Go out there, crush this reboot, crush your day, and crush your follow-up game. We still have plenty of time to play, guys.